I cannot stress this enough. Well, okay, yeah, I can't stress this enough today. I forgot my mic, and it's kind of windy, and I'm also by a highway. I have to kind of stop and start whenever a car or two comes because it's just really, really loud. Second thing is, I'm kind of a little bit overexposed. I'm using Vlog on the GH5, and it seems a little bit washed out. So, I could either go into the settings and fix that, or I have this wonderful new invention called an ND filter. And if we just turn it a little bit, it gets darker. And now it looks a little bit better. Not great, because I do kind of purposefully have the settings in the camera messed up. So I can show you guys this ND filter. Cars. You see, I have to pause and stop to see if there's one or two cars going. So today we will be reviewing the K&F Concept filter, ND filter, and man, the autofocus on the GH5 still isn't good. I guess it does well enough. I have it on facial focus. So, it's a little bit overcast today. It's not exactly just blaringly sunny. And hopefully I can use that to my advantage, but I still want to kind of put this ND filter through a rigorous testing today. So let's get right to it. Alright, let's see if this wind dies down. If not, I'm going to try to carry on and hope you guys can hear me. I'll judge the footage when I get home. It kind of sucks that I forgot my mic. But I know what you all were thinking. Charles, didn't you purposefully screw up your settings to make it brighter so that you could show us what an ND filter is? And, well, yes, but no. Let me just fix it here. So, ND filters are pretty much sunglasses for your lens. They help you in very bright situations, and mostly a photographer and a videographer's least favorite time of the day is like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where the sun is beating straight down on you because, well, harsh light is harsh light. These ND filters are something that, regardless of the pros and cons, I believe that any photographer or videographer should have because they help immensely. Now, most photographers use it as a long exposure tool. Long exposures are usually of like clouds, water, landscape, you know, that kind of thing. And I haven't exactly fully am able to understand how to do long exposures, but it's on my list of things to learn this year because, you know, there's nothing really else to do except work in photography. And yeah, so I believe that it's a very handy tool, and I think you guys should do it. And when I get back in the studio after showing you some more examples of what an ND filter can do, I'll go over the pros and cons and anything else that you guys might need to know about the K&F Concept ND filter. So I'll see you guys in the studio after the short montage. Hope you guys are having a great time. Howdy and welcome back to the Small Bear Studio. I hope you liked that first part of the video. Now I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of the K&F Concept filters. You'll have to excuse me in the field because I get talking and I don't have anything written down when I'm outside doing these tests. So things kind of get jumbled and I don't really say exactly what I want to say. That's why I have the studio here, so I can elaborate more for all of you to find out the inner workings of camera gear. So while I have the pros and cons, I do kind of have a middle category in which I couldn't really place into a pro or con, so I'll explain that a little bit later. And as a disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by K&F Concept. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. All opinions are my own, and well, let's get started. So a pro of the K&F Concept filter, and probably the most important part, is that it works as intended. As I said in the video earlier, these are basically sunglasses for your camera lenses, and they do work. It's just, it gives you a good workable image in harsh light. So it's a pretty basic concept for these. You just screw them on the front of your lens and you turn the stop wheel until it stops. And unfortunately that's kind of a con, but I'll get to that later. And as you move the ring, it just darkens the image because there's two kind of plates that kind of move together to, like, you know, one in front of the other. I guess it's not really sunglasses, you're just kind of like, and it doesn't magnify in any way, but this is really weird. It's like putting two magnifying glasses on top of each other. They kind of cross over, but like they're dark. I'm not good at explaining technical concepts. I'm not a technical person. I try to sound smart, but it just, you know, I'm also very, very unlucky when it comes to doing stuff like that. You know, and as just a minor explanation, I kind of wanted this to feel like a little bit of like a rustic kind of like setting. And I have the backboard there, which is actually, you know, it's not real wood, but it's one of that kind of plywood stuff, like siding. It's not siding. I forget what it is. I'm going to have to go pick that up, but wow, I still have one. What is this one? This is the 72 inch. This is the one for my Sigma. I'm not throwing this one. Another pro for these things is that they are cheap. I mean, you get what you pay for. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It's just if you want a good, cheap filter for your camera lens that helps you stop light, then yeah, it works as intended and it's cheap. I got this one for my Sigma for, I think it was $36, and then I got the one for my, the one that I threw. I got that one for my 25mm and my 14 to 42mm. So now that we've gone over some of the, you know, two most important pros that I think it works as intended and it's cheap for, you know, all intended and purposes, we're going to move on to another category in which I call the medium category, which is, I couldn't find a place to put them. They're not a pro, but they're also not a con. And I'm just going to reopen this since I already tried to open it. So the first kind of medium about this, the reflection is so cool. I get so sidetracked. So the first medium about this lens is that the ergonomics are pretty well done. They're about 50-50. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. And one of the issues that I have is actually in my con section of the video. The stopping ring is really smooth. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has 9, maybe 10 stops of light, which is nice because it goes, oh geez. This is, you know, a part I can't really show you guys the ergonomics. Maybe can I don't even know if that's working. If you purchase one, you can see. Right now it's at the minimum, and then if you take it to the max, it just shuts off all the light. So my other thing with this filter is I actually don't know if it's resistant to anything. It doesn't really say on the box if this is actually, you know, resistant to like scratching or weather. It's not weather sealed, I don't think. It's not scratch resistant. It's not fog resistant. So I guess honestly that would be a con, that like it doesn't really have any protection. It's just, you know, I don't want to test it. I'm not taking a knife to this because this is too important to me. Well, not, you know, not too important, but important enough that I'm not going to do that. So now that we're done talking about the pros and that medium section there, we're going to talk quickly about the cons. The first one is there is no hard stops. When you spin the filter that causes the two plates to shift in front of one another to, you know, make it darker, there is no, like, it doesn't click into place. It's free flowing, and which leads into my next con. There is, and I'll put it up on the screen here, when the plates come together and they pass one another, because there's no hard stops, it makes a really weird X vignetting formation. So I know how to work around the vignetting and the weird Xing that happened my first time. And I think it's just something you kind of have to fiddle with to make sure that you know when to stop and where to stop it, because you don't have any... It has like a little arrow, a little white arrow, and it has dots that you spin to match up with the arrow. So that's kind of your only warning of where you're at on the stopping filter setting. One of the main reasons why I got this is because I didn't want to have to limit myself during a time of day, because, you know, a photographer and a videographer's most preferred time to shoot is around sunset, golden hour, blue hour, whatever you want to call it. That's probably the most perfect time to do any type of filming or photography. Now, because I have this, I don't have to limit myself to just shooting in those, you know, short 3-4 hours. Now I can just go out and just screw this thing on and you're ready to go. So I don't know about investing into all those really big popular filters like you know, the Peter McKinnon one, and it's just, you know, I get it, I really do get it, but I'm not going to get it. And I know there are some gear elitists that want to have all the best things, and, you know, more power to you. I think that if you can afford the best stuff, you should get the best stuff. But for someone like me, it's just $26 is fine. It's fine for me. So with all that being said, I'm glad you guys stuck through all of this, and I will see you guys next time here on the Small Bear Studio. NG, and I cannot stress this enough, ha. I'll see you guys next time.